Hello and welcome to FS Brew's News with Analysis episode. We're very excited to put together another episode, punchy, power packed, but also easy to digest. I hope you enjoy it. We will kickstart with Ranjit, who's got a couple of interesting news pieces to talk about. Ranjit, over to you.
Before that, I just want to tell you, Vidya, I just got missile
Yes,
alert here. It's crazy, the times we live in, right?
yes.
Uh, it's been taken care of and we don't have anything to worry. But obviously, it does cause a little bit of nervousness. But
Yeah,
here we
yeah.
go into it. Okay, so the first one that I wanted to talk about was about this news piece on the insurtech Shepherd. I think we covered it the last time. We said they had raised a big funding amount, but what's interesting with them is that their technology platform, right? It's obviously focused on commercial industries, and we mentioned that they had closed about 42 million Series B round, and with some big names. Their platform is an AI-driven insurance platform, right? So apparently they've been set up since 2021. It's not something they set it up after ChatGPT was released to just tie on the back of the AI bandwagon.
Right.
And it seems they have 600 plus customers and $400 billion of project value. Now, obviously, these are commercial projects, so the project value itself is large. The gross written premium is not as large as that, obviously. These are some of the numbers a startup will keep talking about to make them show us that they're very big. So, who are their customers? Major AI labs, chip manufacturers,
Right.
hyperscalers like these Amazon, Googles of the world, specialty builders, so on and so forth. So everybody who is on the backbone of the AI economy is
You're
what
right, right.
their market is. And obviously, the US investment in infrastructure and even globally in data centers and AI related infrastructure has become hundreds of billions of dollars, and it's going to be trillions over the next few years.
Yeah.
So this is a good area to be in, right? Clearly, the legacy insurance systems were not built for that kind of pace of ramp up, right? So this is where these newer insurance platforms can play a part, really, where it's speed, risk differentiation, non-paperwork heavy, right? We spoke to some of the underwriters at Mecon, and they were saying how much of paperwork is involved in construction and energy.
Yeah.
A modern platform like this makes a lot of difference, right? What else is interesting in this? Let me quickly read. So the platform that they built pulls in real-time data from folks like Procore and Autodesk. So they allow Shepherd is a platform to
Right.
assess risk faster than traditional carriers, which are still relying on, let's say, static applications or just a photographic survey or stuff like that, or maybe building plans and stuff like that, right? So that's very interesting how things are becoming a little more AI centric, and I think it's a great market to tackle because there's so much investment in AI. So thoughts, Vidya?
No, indeed. And as you rightly mentioned at Mekon, we saw how technology plays a critical role in this whole decision making, especially for these large energy projects and AI infrastructure projects, which help on the greater cause and the wider economic cost. So it's very interesting to see AI being implemented in this very commercial sort of lines of businesses, which otherwise we typically see on the low hanging fruits or on the personal lines and so on. What would be very interesting to note maybe at a course of time is, does this whole improve and not just the speed but also loss ratio quality or just the quality of decision making, and is it a durable advantage, or is it's just a one of those quick features sort of a thing which competitors can copy so if it's just a feature over a period of time. So
Correct.
yeah, I'll be interested to see that piece.
Absolutely. Now, it's interesting that you said that because
Yeah.
apparently the chief technology officer of Shepherd called
Yeah.
Mo Lavi. So it seems like he's probably from this region, Mohammed. So he says he set the same path that he has seen in self-driving vehicles and applied it to underwriting. So he
Oh
says the
wow.
underwriter today handles about 20 accounts a month and loses too much time on submissions outside the appetite.
Right.
So he wants to make underwriting like self-driving in a sense. But having said that, self-driving cars are not really out here yet. They've been there in the works for 15 years. So I hope what you said
We have to see.
maybe maybe true. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Proof in the pudding. Yeah.
Absolutely. Do you want to do your piece before we get into interesting one on Emirates?
Okay, yeah. So this is again on AI. I think you will
AI is
like
the
it a
flavor.
lot. So there is a company, an investment tech sort of a company called Diprimus Holdings in the US, and they have launched Lucy. Now, Lucy
Okay.
is a fully autonomous insurance carrier, fully autonomous, Ranjit. So in the sense that it takes on all the core functions of an insurance carrier. So your underwriting, your claims, your agent conversation, and so on. So I think there is very minimal intervention of humans in that things for from a governance point of view or from a litigation point of view and so on. It is, I thought that was pretty bold of a company to go fully autonomous, and their CEO of Diaprimus said that we didn't want to build tools for humans, we wanted to design an insurer where the operating system is the insurer. So
Right.
technology isn't assisting the company, the technology is the company, which is pretty
Ah,
bold.
interesting.
Lucy, if I may add, is actually short form for logistic underwriting claim system. So hence
Okay.
Lucy. So it was developed based on the archival information, historical claims, and underwriting information, and then built around that basis. That. Any thoughts,
Interesting.
Ranjit?
I can see that the technology is nearly there to do this, but I still
Yeah.
feel that you need, especially for complicated insurance, you need to have that human touch. You need to talk to your
Yeah.
clients, and especially in claims, I cannot see that going in a completely autonomous manner. I'm sure there is a human in the loop element that they have planned, and it
Mm.
could also be they're trying to get eyeballs because this sounds great today. Autonomous. I'm not even sure if the regulators permit this, but I want to see this work out in practice. I may be an AI watcher, learner, but I'm not sure this is going to work. But let's see. I may be wrong.
For some reason, I thought you will be a cheerleader of it, but you're right in a sense that it doesn't fit at the current sort of thinking, especially for the lines of business that they're targeting. So they are targeting property casualties, so pretty hardcore commercials, and we know that it involves a lot of human touch. So therefore, going fully autonomous is really interesting to watch.
Yeah, no, indeed. Having said that, we are seeing some of these models like OpenClaw and Hermes and all these kind of agentic harnesses, right? And
Yeah,
paperclip. You can
yeah,
actually run organizations using these harnesses. So
right.
it's within the realm of possibility. I get that. This is a bit bridge too far.
So maybe why not actually? So we all seem to be embracing it. And then if Lucy is using aerial technology, satellite imaging technology, archival claims information, and it is humans come in at the time of maybe acquiring the customers,
Yeah.
running the entire piece is done by Lucy's platform. And then claims, maybe you've done the claims, you've paid out, and then again you're doing a round of customer engagement. So it is more the human touch functions that exist, and the core statistical sort of a function can be completely done by the platform.
No, I think what you have described is the human in the loop kind of thing. What threw me
Yes.
off was
Yeah.
he's talking about fully
Fully
autonomous.
autonomous.
I was like,
Yeah.
wow, that's just
No, that's what they are saying actually, that they want to be fully autonomous. Only at the
right,
point of litigation or governance there is a human touch. Otherwise,
right.
there are no humans involved.
I must say, it's an interesting experiment, and maybe some insurtech can try and do this for their product, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
have very few people and all that, and focus on customer engagement and touch point. May
Yeah.
hint, Vidya, but you will. I know there is a stealth project that you're working on, and when you're ready,
Mm.
you will reveal it to the listeners. That's why I
Well,
said hint.
inshallah.
All right, perfect.
Indeed.
That's good.
Indeed.
Moving on to the next one, and literally, I've got Financial Times here. FT talked about Emirates, and we read about it,
Yes.
and
That's why.
apparently, and this article is good because it gives us a view of what really happens when a war happens to airlines. Right now,
Yeah.
Emirates is and Etihad, and even I think Air Arabia are trying to run a few 50, 60 flights a day, right? So apparently, it says that Emirates is paying only about $100,000 additional in war premiums a week now, and they called it outrageously low.
Correct.
Apparently, the overseas airlines are being quoted $70,000 to $150,000 for every.
Flight.
So it's like the order is different, and it could be because of the scale of Emirates'
Yeah.
operations, and the
Indeed.
fact also is that they are well aware of the terrain here. They are very integrated into the Ministry of Defense infrastructure. They are tracking every risk. as it happens. And apparently, this model, not the insurance model, but the model of flying under conflict, has been done for many years by the Tel Aviv airport.
Right,
So it's not impossible to think of running flights under conflict situations. So I think that it
right.
shows about the confidence and also shows the bargaining power of a large airline like Emirates. And
Mm,
apparently their insurance broker is WTW, Willis Towers Watson,
right,
right? So
right.
they negotiated a war risk policy to allow the carrier to continue operating after the conflict started. And
Yeah,
this policy covers Emirates for the first $2 billion of losses. And that's it. And it's capped at 2 billion. And but obviously the fleet itself is worth tens of billions. It doesn't cover everything, and that'll be a massive issue in any case. But it allows them to function. Very interesting.
and it covers the hull, it covers the passenger's injury or death, and it covers, I think, any sort of sabotage and so on. So it's a holistic sort of a risk cover.
Yes, indeed, absolutely. And another interesting thing that I saw was the chartered airplanes. We saw some chartered
Yes,
flights going from Fujairah. So apparently they pay
even more.
individual. Yeah, they pay around $50,000. Now imagine a smaller flight carrying fewer people. So that's the premium that they carry. So it's very interesting. I thought we should discuss this because obviously insurance is what enables some of these things to happen, right? And all of us, whether people coming in or going out, all this is enabled. If there is no insurance, none of this will happen. In a way, I'm saying, hey, insurance is super important.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
It is so critical. And we're getting, when we see news pieces on various channels now, you can see a lot of the times insurers being roped in on giving their view of the risk, the war risk that exists across multiple layers of businesses, whether it's cargo or just the aviation side or other commercial side of things. So you can see the relevance of insurance coming
Yeah,
through for sure in view of how things are panning out here. But as you
absolutely.
said, Emirates is clearly benefiting from the scale of it. And I was reading that article, and it said that many of the guys who participated were very, very upset, disappointed to not have been given a better rate and so on. But they participated also because they know it's Emirates. They will do everything in their capacity to make sure it is safe as well. So it also goes back to the reputation of the organization in terms of the consistency with which they have operated and always kept their the highest of the standards. You can see the insurers coming through when a business has displayed its levels of operations
Yeah,
consistency.
absolutely. And I think to that point, I think the article also mentioned, because this is not a well-known fact, right? The lead insurer is called Atrium. So
Yes,
these are some of the airline insurers that are operating in the market, and obviously probably arranged through some of the reinsurance brokers sitting in DIFC and stuff like that, maybe even
right.
Lloyd's of London.
Yeah, yeah. And then
Yeah.
the way the whole policy, sorry, the way the policy also functions apparently is very different. In a way, one of the key features is that it can be easily cancelable on short notice because
Oh, is
obviously
it?
the environment changes and so on. So you don't have to have it like that annual way where we typically enter
Mm.
for your typical policies, right? So once the environment change, you can always cancel it on short notice.
And let me tell you, all of us are praying for that environment to change as soon as possible.
Indeed, for
Very
sure.
good. Is there another piece that you want to carry or?
I think we've pretty much come to our end of the news pieces. There are many coming up. We hope to put it out hopefully next week again. So we encourage our viewers to watch, share, comment. That
Yes,
encourages us a lot to keep this going, especially in these times of war. But be safe and thanks for joining us.
absolutely, absolutely. And like the important point that Vidya said, share, comment, all this encourages us. And don't just silently watch it and do nothing. And like Gary Vee says, if you like and share, my mother will be very happy.
Please do that then, please. All right.
Perfect.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
And